growth that the Islamic banking industry has naturally took place in countries where you have large Muslim populations. But as an extension of that, as the world and as global analysts and as global regulators start to see the value that we bring to the market, that we are more reliable, we're more transparent, we're more compliant, we're more predictable, and I think this business model will grow and prosper and spread in many places. Now, the label that we use, Islamic banking, is probably a deterrent in some markets, but I think the customers all around the world are beginning to see what we offer, and they are taking this business model into consideration, and gradually I will see, and I expect to see, Western banks, conventional banks, adopt our model. Maybe they will not call it Islamic banking, they will call it something else. Maybe it will be without a specific label, but the essence of it, the mechanics of it, the value of it will be similar to ours. So we're not an institution that would like to spread the word Islamic per se, because that's not our mandate. This is not a religious institution, this is a bank. Our mandate is to grow the bank and to grow the business model, and I think that is the main message that we have. If the conventional banks had adopted these rules 5, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, they would have avoided a big part of the financial crisis that took place at the end of 2008 and continued in 2009. For example, Sharia compliant banks cannot act as brokers where you go and you gather toxic assets, toxic loans, you package them, you get them rated AA, AAA, you sell it and you take your brokerage fee and commission. Sharia compliant banks cannot do that. And conventional banks, unfortunately, did too much of that. ADIB is a Sharia compliant bank. It was established about 14 years ago. And in ADIB, basically we have designed the business model to cater to the retail market. We're very, very focused on our customers. We try to offer them a world-class banking service. We look at their financing needs, we look at their wealth management needs, and we designed ourselves to basically give them the best that the market can offer. We have products that range from the Sharia compliant equivalent of credit cards to car financing to home financing. Plus, we have also on the wealth management side enormous capability in offering savings plans that go into Sharia compliant products. And we also provide advisory to them on how they should save their money. We also provide the Sharia equivalent insurance products for them. We give them retirement planning. We give them education savings plans. We basically try to give our client base a package of products that meet their needs. Above all, what we try to do is base all our products on a mutual benefit basis, which means our research that we do is based on what is good for the client. And if we think it's good for the client, then we will actually do a lot of work to make the product competitive, and we go and offer it to the client base. If we see that the product is really not good for the client, our policies prohibit us from selling it, and we discourage our bankers from selling such products. So the mutual benefit is the overall umbrella that governs our dealings with the market, and world-class banking, the best that the market has to offer, is another very important component that we have. So far, our experience shows that with these two things into the value proposition have helped us grow the client base from an active customer base of 150,000 in 2007 to about 500,000 active clients today. There is enormous demand for what I would call ethical banking all around the world, especially after the financial crisis that came at the end of 2008. The global consumers have basically voted with their money. They are fed up losing their savings. Some have lost their pensions. They want a bank that they can trust with their wealth. They want a bank that will not have hidden charges when they come and finance their assets. They just need a bank that they can trust and a bank that speaks their language. And we, in fact, have just done that. We have dedicated ourselves to give to the clients what they need. And what they need is a bank they can trust and a bank that speaks their language. And above all, a bank that looks after their interest. And that's what we do. That is basically our basic value proposition. We believe that this business model, this formula, is the best kept secret in the world. We believe that banks who do this will eventually be much more profitable to their shareholders in the long term and in the medium term. And what is also beautiful about this is that it promises consistency of performance to the investors and to the depositors and to the clients that do business with a bank that follows our business model. It's a very stable business model. It's a predictable business model. It is based on a benefit perceived, analyzed, researched, and sold to the client base. Sharia compliant banking is not restricted for Muslims. Sharia in our language means law. So what we offer to the market is compliant, lawful, ethical business practices. And people around the world, when they see that, when they understand that, they come, and that's what they want. They vote with their money, and they have been trusting us with their money. Today in ADIB, we have a growing trend of customers who come from different cultures, different religions, who do business with us. They're happy, they're satisfied, because they feel the benefit. They understand that when they have a Sharia compliant credit card from the bank, what they see is what they get. There are no hidden charges. If they make a mistake, they don't get charged for it. If they're late in paying, they don't get penalized. We don't have penalty banking. We don't have, you made a mistake banking, we will charge you for it. We are very simple, we're very straightforward, very transparent. And I think that this benefit is for all, and that's what we offer. We have brought discipline into banking. We have brought high ethical standards into banking. We have brought certain measures as to how the bank can make a profit doing business with a client. We cannot entertain usury. Usury is prohibited in Islam, but I would also say it's also prohibited in other religions. And so far in Sharia compliant banking, we have taken these universal principles, these God-given principles, and we have incorporated those into our business model. We make money in a way that is not excessive, in a way that is very transparent. We don't make money on a client if he's late in paying. We don't make money on a client who loses his job and can't pay. We don't make money on a client by foreclosing on his house when he can't pay and selling it onto the market and taking away his equity. We make money when the clients are able to perform and honor their contracts. We believe in ADIB that competition is very good. We believe that the market will benefit from a much more dynamic supply side. We would love to see all the banks engage very, very actively in offering Sharia compliant products. Today, the Islamic banking sphere is no longer a small percentage. We are growing at double the growth rate of conventional banks. We have a growing market share. I believe that by the end of this decade, we will have more than 50% market share combined. And this is a very significant percentage to look at. The more banks offer Islamic products, the better it is for Islamic banks, because gradually and eventually Islamic banking will become the convention. And that is our goal. The moment it becomes a convention, then it becomes a way of life. This business model becomes a dominant business model. And the world becomes much healthier. The world of finance becomes much healthier, much more stable, with a much smaller number of accidents. I think everybody will benefit, including Islamic banks. I think what's happening today in the world is a convergence of business models. I believe that conventional banks, whether they like it or not, through regulation, are being asked to take much less risk than they have done so in the past. And they're being asked to become much more transparent and much more lawful and compliant. And if you look at all of these new regulations that are coming in, they are basically indirectly making them Sharia compliant banks. At the end of the day, it will all converge together. We do not have a monopoly over being Sharia compliant or over being ethical. This is not a monopoly. This is a universal value, and we promote this universal value. I believe that, as anything else in life, evolution will take care of this. It doesn't matter whether we will have 2 business models or 3 business models. What matters is this business model, which gives a better value, will continue to grow. And hopefully, all the conventional banks will adopt the same principles. To us, that is a very desirable outcome, and we believe anything that is good for all is good for us.